Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be going over the brand new Season 27 PTR patch notes that just came out today. In fact, you guys are seeing gameplay of one of the coolest builds that has emerged from this most recent patch, which is actually going to be the Impale Strafe Demon Hunter. It's basically a more powerful version of the God DH. But let's go ahead and get started. We're basically just going to be checking out the things in the red, which is basically highlighting the brand new changes over here. So starting right off with the Barbarian. The Whirlwind hasn't actually been changed. I'm really happy about this. This is definitely going to be one of the best builds. In fact, I also have all the numbers in case any of you guys do want the numbers for like what is the highest GR clears at this moment. Keep in mind we're in the first day, but more than likely this will probably maybe increase just a couple GRs. But Barb is still cleared at 146 with the Whirlwind build, and it is still right now the top build for Barbarian. We also got a buff though with Hammer of the Ancient, so now what it does is it used to be I believe every 7th cast, but now it's every 10th cast of Hammer of the Ancients. It's going to unleash the Shockwave, but it deals 10 times the amount of damage. Now as far as this goes, I would say that most people are still going to be probably playing this. Being able to group up everything is still way more powerful than the Shockwave. This thing was okay if you were like maybe T16-ish. It still definitely is going to be a buff to it at the end of the day. But I still think that this is going to be the most meta one. We'll have to wait and see unless they change this to even a higher number, which would be even greater for like the T16 speeds, maybe even like GR 100 speeds. But as far as like push builds, it's still at the moment Whirlwind right now. So in terms of the other buff that Barb got with the Tempest Rhythm, that's Wrath of the Berserker. So every build of Barbarian pretty much runs Wrath of the Berserker. So every build can benefit off of this particular legendary power. It makes it so we now have an increase of to 100 increased percent damage, because you can have 50 stacks, each stack is 2%, so 100% damage. Cool. That's the changes with Barb. Now as far as the Crusader goes, so the Blessed Hammer ability that crackles with energy, basically how it would work is you would throw something and it can actually return to you. If you guys want to see gameplay, by the way, of any of these things mentioned, I'll be dropping some more updated ones, but the previous ones are probably going to be very similar, but there might be some numerical number changes on certain things, like the Barb one, for example. But nonetheless, basically it would shoot out and then it would come back. So you basically get to hit the enemy an extra time, which could be an okay buff. But I didn't really see this being super popular in terms of my feedback for this. Maybe make it even stronger, but I'll have to do some more testing with the newest patch notes here. But I just felt like it was still underwhelming, and at the moment, what has the Crusader actually cleared? If you're wondering, Crusader has actually done a 135 with Bombard, and then they're all running the Angel power, which we'll get into in a second, but also Phalanx is still like a viable option as well with the Arcane build. So this is where we get into the other change over here. So the Fist of the Heavens, this hasn't been changed. It hasn't been on leaderboard. So in terms of some feedback, I think this should be maybe buff, maybe extra bonus damage on Fist of the Heavens, because it's already an ability that you can spam quite frequently. It's not like a super ability. So perhaps making the either cooldown change maybe every 1 second, or give some sort of multiplier for it would be okay. Next up though, with the Falling Sword, you can descend from the sky, you summon those angels. I mentioned before, those angels are actually really good. They're used to kill like Rift Guardians, because the damage is insanely powerful with the ability to summon those angels. But it was a really long cooldown, so they've updated them, and now they do not benefit from certain bonuses. I think it was from Holy originally is what it was titled, and then now they no longer take damage, and on top of that they remove the cooldown to actually spawn them in. So I believe this means that as long as you can frequently keep on casting your Falling Sword, I believe the duration was either like 10 or 15 seconds that they would last. So that's going to be almost 100% uptime for most builds, if not always up. You can only have 2 angels at a time though, and the damage done by archangels has been reduced. So I haven't tested this out myself. Again, this just came out. I'll give you guys gameplay footage of it, and I'll let you guys know. But I'm guessing overall, it's probably not going to be destroying Rift Guardians as fast as it used to. They've also changed the skill, so they now, after casting Falling Sword, they can cast Consecration and Condemn. They no longer use the Heaven Sphere. This is what was dealing all the damage. Basically, the auto attacks after really wasn't anything to consider. But maybe with like the Condemn build, build, maybe this can be kind of useful for it. We'll wait and see, but as of right now, it is the legendary Sanctified power that everyone's using. So next up, for Demon Hunter, you guys are seeing gameplay in the background. So they changed some of the bugs that wouldn't make certain things like work. I believe I covered the multi-shot build. That one just wasn't registering properly. You'd have to actually aim it. And then, so that's been changed. So this is going to be overall a buff for it. But right now, the best build that everyone's messing around with is the one that you're seeing. It's clear to 140, which is the Impale Strafe Demon Hunter. As far as the Vengeance, there was a bug where you could be a certain distance, I believe, and you would still be able to hit the enemies and it wouldn't go on the cooldown. So this is actually being changed to fix the bug to state the damage is equal to a percentage of the maximum life, not current life. So that's a change over there. And then Firing Cluster no longer drops explosive ordnance. It concentrates an explosive force into piercing rays of light. So that's the other Sanctified power over there. What it does is they're making it so I believe there's a change with the hatred. So apparently sometimes it wasn't costing the correct hatred, I guess. They updated the skills, visuals, effects, and sounds. I feel like it fires a little bit faster. I feel like the animation has also been changed, but you guys can let me know how you feel about that. Overall, again, right now everyone's playing what I'm showing you guys in the background, and that's really fun. They actually update it later in the text, but basically you can strafe now with a dagger. Before you would have to have a bow as a weapon. So overall, Demon Hunter, really nice changes over here. I like the playstyle of the brand new Demon Hunter too. So as far as Monk goes, the Wave of Light build still really good at the moment. It has cleared a 150 already, day one, which is crazy. But anyways, Shattering the Light rune now respects in which way you're facing when you strike the bell, and your bells can no longer proc your own bells. Updated the tooltip to reflect that other players can attack summon bells. So this could be kind of good if you're doing something that relies on maybe hitting something to proc other things. So overall, I would say this is a nice change. I don't know if this was a tooltip that just got updated via text or if it now it just like works properly. As far as the other builds go, I haven't really seen these see like top tier play, so probably Wave of Light is the go-to build for Monk, so that's cool. And it's a good build, right? As far as the Necromancer goes, the Golem, so the updated tooltip to clarify which corpse skills are impacted by the Sanctified power. And then for the change over here, it fixed a bug that caused unintended interaction with Fate's Vow and the Army of the Dead Sanctified power. At the moment, in terms of Necro, what have they cleared? They have actually already done a 150 with the Blood Nova. That is going to be the most powerful build, but there was a lot of like 140 pluses with the Rathma build. So if you're interested in either builds with Necro, they are like really high tier in terms of competitiveness, so those are great as well to both play. Now, as far as Witch Doctor, this was the class that I felt like needed the most buffs, as a lot of times you really didn't get them to either function properly or there wasn't a real big new change. So now we've got a huge update with this. So Witch Doctor with the Mundanugu build is at 140, at least at the moment of me recording this video. That's in terms of like the GR clears. So this is the changes. We have enemies affected by Locust Swarm are also haunted. When you cast Piranhas, all haunted enemies within 60 yards are pulled into the pool. A lesser enemy stunned by Bogadal is instantly killed. Elites and bosses stunned by Bogadal take massive damage. So this is going to be a pretty nice change for that. I believe Mundanugu will still probably be the best, but they also have a change over here where Horrify becomes an aura that causes enemies to receive 100% more damage and it deal 15% less damage in addition to its other effects. So this is an overall huge buff. I mean, I believe it was originally 15% and now we're getting basically a 85% increased damage. So Witch Doctors are probably really happy with this. Next up though, we now have another Sanctified change where you summon 2 Gargantuans and 3 Zombie Dogs periodically. Gargantuans gain the effect of the Restless Giant rune. Zombie Dogs gain the effect of all runes enemies hit by the Sacrifice or Immolated, causing them to take 100% more damage from your pet. So this is going to be an overall nice change for multiple different ways to play the Witch Doctor. So this is a nice change because I felt like they were in dire need of help. Now, changes to the Wizard. I'm going to have to go back over here to Wizard with the Storm Armor. So I've already showed you guys a build. This build will no longer work, but I'm just going to mention it. The GR150 that we cleared with no weapon equipped, that will no longer work. So basically before you could spam Storm Armor and rotate in between armor skills, and you would no longer have that cooldown, which was I believe 60 seconds at the time. So every 30 seconds you can one-shot something. Is this going to be good? Maybe you can go in with a group to push really high tier that like you normally wouldn't be able to push, and you can kill some stuff. I don't know if it's going to be very viable, but if you can pull like certain elites in certain areas and just focus in on killing the elites, maybe that can be a viable option. And like you have one barb, maybe 3, it's going to be very difficult to pull off. I don't know if this build is even going to realistically see any more play, as in like they just try to play with storm armor. But if you have nothing else, hey, it's a good sanctified power, right? Next up for Arcane Orb. So this hasn't actually been changed. This is the DMO build. It's fun. I like it a lot. And then on top of that, Magic Missile has actually gotten a nerf and a buff. So right now we reduced half of the missiles. So it used to be, I believe, 20, and now it has changed to 10. So that's a huge nerf, essentially. I believe Firebirds is still going to be the #1 choice for the build. And on top of that, let's go over the other changes, because there are some other changes, but that kind of put them in a different area. So item changes, the Guardian's Jeopardy set. So with the 2-piece bonus, we gain now 100% of your base of the stats and vitality attributes from equipped items. This is actually pretty big. I don't believe this works with augmenting the gear, but someone can let me know if that has actually been updated as well, because that would actually be a nice, huge bonus. Because at the moment, Captain Crimson is kind of like the go-to, okay, I have some extra room, let me throw those in, right? But at the very start of it, this could be actually pretty nice to have, depending on your build as well. Like Crusader, Barbarian, both of those have like a % bonus like that you can gain. I think it was like Refinery and then the Rampage, I believe, with the Barbarian, where you can increase your stats. So this could be maybe nice for some builds. Some builds at the moment are actually using this over Captain Crimson's. I haven't done the numbers myself, but I just mentioning what I've seen on the leaderboards. And then on top of that, the 3-piece bonus, our melee damage reduction is actually increased by 1% per 1,000 base vitality from equipped items. So this could be kind of nice as well. And our missile damage is also changed by 1% per 1,000 base of whatever. So this is kind of a nice change as well. Maybe you can get like 10 to maybe 20% damage reduction on both of those, and the extra 100% would be quite nice for certain builds. So I would say overall this is a great change for it, because before everyone was still running Captain Crimson's or odd guilds. That's another like thing that people would run. As far as the Crusader, they changed some of the bugs over here. So they fixed a typo. There's a bug that allowed any attack to proc the 4-piece bonus to reduce the accurate champions. Oh, so maybe there's like a nerf to it. Like that's kind of something that we didn't really notice. They've also fixed the bugs that cause the bonus of a con 6-piece to sometimes not proc with Phalanx. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. So that's actually kind of a buff in a sense. They update the visual effect of Phalanx avatar proccing the Condemned to reduce visual clutter. This is really good too, because sometimes you would just see so many things, and like I guess like for positioning, maybe if there is something that's going up on like the battlefield where you can't see maybe an enemy's ability, that could be good. Or if you need to stand in specifically like the Oculus ring, this is good. Updated the AI Phalanx to prioritize targets around the player. This is a thing that I've been asking for, or just them attacking whatever you're judging, right? That could be another change, but nonetheless, just some sort of change to it, because sometimes they would shoot off on their own, so this is a great change as well. Okay, and then also Traghouls, they fixed a bug that caused a Siphon Blood power shift rune damage to bonus to be multiplicative. Okay, so Necromancer took a nerf, like I said, at the moment, they've already done a 150 with the new changes here. Oh, another change with Necromancer. Death Nova deals 304% increased damage for every enemy within 25 yards, up to 25 enemies. Oh, so maybe this had like a limit. But again, it's already done 150. If you are able to do 150 with it, I'd say these changes, if it is a nerf, it is not that big of a deal. Siphon Blood drains blood from 2 additional targets. Each target takes 250 to 300% increased damage from you unless there is only one target. Then it gains double the increased damage. Wow. The bonus from Siphon Blood power shift is now 28% per stack and benefits all skills. Okay, so that's a nice change as well. And then with the DMO, oh, more changes over here. Okay, so in the red, enemies affected by your slow time and for 5 seconds after exiting take 12,500% increased damage from your Arcane Orb, Energy Twister, Magic Missile, Shock Pulse, Spectral Blade, Electric Meteor, and Arcane Torrent ability. So I guess they added some stuff with it. Interesting to see Meteor here. Because Tal Rasha needs the buff. So Tal Rasha, no changes. Okay, I played Tal Rasha. I didn't play the one where he was the Archon variant, but the regular version still wasn't very good. I believe Archon was a little bit more powerful. So as far as feedback for this, I think we should get some other multiplier with this, either just through Meteor, or I like the original idea that some people were talking about, which was that it had like no cooldown. I believe Yugioh mentioned that, where like you just have no cooldown, and specifically the meteors could activate maybe on more things, basically on like the fire dots. So that would be kind of cool to see as well. I just feel like Tal Rasha's, considering they kind of reworked the set, it still is probably not going to see some play at the moment. At least right now, Firebirds is still the go-to, so a buff with Tal Rashers would be nice. Even Diablo getting a small little buff, maybe, I don't know. I really do think the Frozen Orb does hit quite hard. I think it is good already, but next up, with the Mirror Ball, since I mentioned it did get a buff, this is its buff over here. So Magic Missile fires an extra 2 missiles and deals 400 to 500% increased damage. That's with Mirror Ball. This is really cool because it's been a unique item or legendary item that never really saw play, and I thought it was really cool, and now that it's getting some sort of a buff, that's awesome. So now, if you really want to do maybe a DMO variant of this, just to deal damage specifically with the magic missiles, you can now maybe try to do it. Is it going to be the greatest for pushing? Maybe not. Visually, though, I think it looks really awesome. So next up with Monk, with the Bindings of the Lesser God, enemies hit by your Cyclone Strike take 150 to 200% increased damage from your ally for 5 seconds. Split fire allies gain 3 times this bonus. Oh, okay. So now it's going to be, I believe this is a buff, right? For this, but next up, Demon Hunter, already mentioned this. I'm already showing you guys my gameplay that I got literally like 20 minutes before recording this video. Bug fixes, fix a bug that causes Sanctified items to not always roll with ancient. Oh, this is huge. Okay, I didn't see this. So if you guys didn't know, before when you would roll it, it was like about a 1 in a 10 chance to actually get it to be an ancient item. So they always now have an ancient stat. So before, you'd have to keep on rolling to be ancient, and then you'd have to check, does it have the right stats after it? So this is great. Is this all the changes here? Okay, so this is my impressions of the most recent patch over here. I would say all these changes are great. In terms of like for feedback, probably buff the Wizard with the Meteor Tal Rasha variant. Just maybe even some sort of damage multiplier for Tal Rasha would probably be good, or make it so we can run Tal Rasha and something else, and at that point, I don't know. I think that you would be hybriding out, because I know Tal Rasha has been hybrided out in multiple different builds, but I would say I like these changes overall. I'm curious to see if they change anything else, but in terms of like, yesterday we just dropped a video going over like the best tier list. I would say it's relatively the same with the exception of Witch Doctor. Maybe Demon Hunter bumped up like 1 tier. I mean, is this build pushing 150 at the moment? No, but I like the build and it's very fun, and I'm curious to know what class do you guys plan to play after these patch notes. For me, I'm probably going to be going Demon Hunter or Barbarian. I might just end up playing both, but I'll start off as Demon Hunter because I like the start of Demon Hunter with the ability to get like, what is it, Fan of Knives or Carly's Point, like early on. It's great. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, and if you're new here and you want to see some more updates and more build guides in the future, I'll be covering them very soon. In fact, I want to say the Demon Hunter one probably won't change, so I'll drop that video very soon because it's like the build that I think is the most fun with this newest change. But anyways, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.